Welcome to another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl. I'm your host, Joe, and today we are with the amazing queen herself, Shoniqua Shandai, and this has been a long time coming, and I think that this was definitely divine intervention. Welcome to the show, Shoniqua.
Thank you so much for having me. And you said my name right. I get like every time somebody's about to say my name, I get a little like my heart flutters because I'm like, I'm ready for
You're
whatever
ready to show
creativity they
me
about to add.
it. So, how are you feeling today?
Oh, in all honesty, I am grateful to be here and have this conversation. It's a day of pushing through in
Hmm.
spite of like how you feel and finding the gratitude, even if you might can see the sadness. And I think that's something that I've been like working on anyway, is the way to not necessarily self-comfort, but there's a word I'm looking for when you need to like almost like regain your foundation when something knocks you, and being able to like restructure in
Hmm.
the ways that we restructure and find the healthier habits to help us through when we might could be a little sad.
Yeah.
It's a day of like actively looking for gratitude and also leaning on communities around me and just like leaning on the Lord
Oh,
and
I
grateful
love that.
for your beautiful face to be here. Thank you.
I get that. So, first of all, let's talk about the fact that I've met you through the screen on
Hi.
Harlem, through the incredible character of Angie. So, talk to me about how that's going, how that started, now that the strike is over.
Yes, we can talk about
I really wanted to know about how did that process start? Like, where did that begin?
I think I got the notice for her in 2019.
Hmm. Oh, so right before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic, yeah. So I got the audition notice for Angie in 2019. And I want to say it was maybe like late October. And then found out that I booked it literally on my sister's birthday, December 18th of 2019. So it was like a couple of months, a few months. There were holidays in between. So that could be why. But I found out like as the industry was shutting down, and I was in the grocery store about to buy some bottles for me and my sister to go out clubbing. I got the notification. I believe I was on the liquor aisle browse when I heard about booking the role. And it just kind of, now that I think about it in hindsight, kind of feels appropriate for Angie.
Mhm.
And then from there, we began filming January of 2020.
Mhm.
Late January, February 2020. And of course, got shut down during the pandemic for a year.
Yeah.
And filming the next year of 2021, season one. So yeah, it's been a beautiful process, and I so love this character. It's a person. This is a show I prayed for specifically.
Mhm.
I think in like I want to say like 2018, 2017.
Mhm.
I was on the phone with one of my friends who is now a pastor.
Oh.
And we were just like, you have those friends that like you can pray with and who just like talk spirit to spirit,
Mhm.
God to God with you. And the God in you respects and honors the God in them. And I was on the phone with her singing the blues. Just like, girl, I want to work. And she's like, well, what do you want? Be more specific. I was like, I want a show. And she's like, well, this is your father speaking. What do you want? She's like, very, 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 so much. And I feel like the world will know her name in
You
any capacity
manifested
that I
that.
could. So I wrote down 5 things that I wanted in the show. I wanted something New York based because I have family
Mhm.
in New York that I wanted to connect with. I wanted something that was fashion forward because fashion is my love language. I wanted a show where I sing, that there was Black women on set and in leadership, and that ended and began with prayer. And I pray with these ladies. So I'm in the midst of something I prayed for, and I'm really, really grateful for it.
And I think that's amazing. Like, I've never seen a character like her before. I've never seen anyone handle that type of like character on screen before. I think it's amazing. It's beautiful. I think it means so much to so many people because like she just represents so much strength and just even like in her womanhood and her character, she represents a completely different character that we're not allowed to be as black women. We're not allowed to be free without being a hoe, without being like, like I love
Being
that
connected to
she's
daddy issues
powerful.
or something like that.
Yeah, she's the one who calls the shots. Like, she's the one who's like telling these people what she wants and like and she can take them or leave them and like the power in that. And I think maybe because like I don't see myself in such a like dominant role that like I saw that and I was like, wow, you're allowed to be that?
As I see you like being the boss and the head and shoulders of the podcast, dominating energy.
I
Beautiful.
mean, it's so incredible to see women in that role, and I think that's probably just the genius of Megan Good. What's it like to work with someone who's doing such amazing things in the industry and film? Because I have been following her for years. I love her work. I think that she is absolutely beautiful, and I think that Harlem is one of the most underrated shows. Like I feel like nobody like knows how amazing it is. So I'm always like telling people, like all my friends, like watch Harlem. Like you have to like it's like the perfect like girlfriend experience. And when you watch it, you feel like you're one of the like you want to be on the couch with them and you want to be one of the like girlfriends. And I'm like, are y'all signing up?
I
Y'all
love
taking
it.
applications? Like I want to be one of the friends.
Yes, always, there's always more for room for new beautiful Black queens to be friends with us. So I just wanted to clarify that the show is created and written and EP by the incredible Tracy Oliver, who's
Oh,
a
I'm so sorry. I did not know.
yes, she's the creator of Girls Trip and First Wives Club, and recently The Blackening that was
Okay.
last year. So she is phenomenal and
Okay.
the mind behind all of these wonderful characters, and it is a privilege to work under her.
Beautiful.
And it is also an honor to work with Megan Good, who is like when I tell you I'm a Megan Good fan, when I tell you I am a Megan
I
Good
have been
fan,
since I was
I
a kid.
I
Like
performed her monologues in college. Like that's how much of a Megan Good fan I am. Like so much so I
that's
was in a
next
play.
Friday. Like
Yeah, okay. I was in a play years ago, and my friend booked a role on Minority Report. She was starring in, and he knew how much I loved her that he got her to he and she both sent me a video saying how much they like she wants to work with me one day. And I was like,
uh,
like still have that video to this day. So I am like, when I tell you I'm a kid in a candy store, I'm living my dream, I'm living in a prayer. Like it's an honor to be able to learn from her and watch her. Watching her work is a master class. It comes so effortlessly that it's like water. Watching
mhm.
her like
And I
speak.
mean, you're working with a huge cast of amazing women. Like
Yes,
you have
Jasmine
a
Guy.
powerhouse on that.
Yes, it's on it. You know, Whoopi Goldberg, Grace Bobby,
Yes.
no slouch. The woman can do everything.
How
Joy
how do
Johnson.
you even like stand straight when you're with her
Honey,
on
I
set?
had a whole fangirl like stuttering. I am the worst when it comes to meeting people I love and respect. And I wish I was better at it. Like but something about the excitement and the adrenaline. And I'm also like, people can't tell, but I'm an ambivert. Like I can be very, very extroverted and I can be very, very introverted.
Yes.
It's something about like speaking to people I love or respect and admire brings out one like in the party the networking joints. I'm introverted. I'm like I'm if I'm not I'm performing.
Yeah.
But I had like literally I was telling my managers prior to booking Harlem, how I wanted to mold my career after Whoopi Goldberg. Like, she was the reason why I felt like there was room for me in the industry to see a dark-skinned woman who was curvy and like wore large hair, because Sister Mary Clarence won't play no games. Neither was she in Ghost. Like, all of the extravagance, the beauty, the comedy, the EGOT, like all of the power and wonders that
All
she
the
is. And
characters.
facts. And I meet her in person and I just stutter and I'm like, you look like my mama. Like, that's all I could say. And Megan's so sweet. She just like, I could see that. Like, she's so sweet. But I'm like, I always like, I feel like I put my foot in my mouth when I meet my, like, with people I respect and honor. And I just one of those people I think you gotta like get to know in a real way and then we can bond. But anything else is just like, I'm sorry. My first impression sometimes it's like, I'm just so overwhelmed. So I get overwhelmed.
I love that though. I think that that just makes you a real person, like all of us.
Yes.
Which you could definitely tell, just meeting you here. But like with what you're doing now, and obviously you're still on Harlem, and Harlem is coming back for season 3, correct?
Yes, we go film
Can you
season
tell
three.
us a little bit about when it's coming back?
I have no idea.
But
Like,
it is coming back.
it is definitely coming back. We're gonna go film season 3, but
Okay.
I have no idea when it will air.
Okay. Has it
I
already
yeah,
been filmed?
no, we're gonna go film season 3.
Okay, okay.
Because we had the writer's strike, so right
Right.
season 2 dropped, the writer's strike happened, so we
Hmm.
didn't get a chance to film. But I'll be in Harlem very, very soon filming.
And you
So,
film in New York,
oh yeah,
actually.
we film in the streets of Harlem.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
everything takes place in Harlem.
Nice. It's not a
Yeah.
set. That's great.
No, yeah, no, there's no well, outside, like there's some places that are sets, but even the sets are in New York. But when we outside on the streets of Harlem, we're actually in Harlem.
Okay. Where do you want to see Angie go?
I want to see Angie get all of her dreams have all of her dreams come true. I think we saw her do wonderful things with love and got to see her family. And I still think like there was a glimpse of her getting a movie at the end of season 3 that was supposed to like that starred Jennifer Lewis. So I really want to see my girl have her artistry in her hands because
Mhm.
she's an artist that creates, and we haven't seen that. There was a
Okay.
flashback of it in
Yes.
season 1
Mhm.
with her song, and the guy was like, no one will ever like listen to it or
I
like it. It will be a
remember.
radio hit. And so I'm like, oh, my sis is a little eccentric and tells stories that aren't necessarily radio friendly. So I want to hear what that voice sounds like. I want to hear her voice in music, in artistry, because she's so dynamic and opinionated in her conversations. And I want to see what she would do if she had her hands on her own artistry. So that's what I really want. I want her artistry manifested for her. I want her to have like the full abundance of life. And I feel like she's got it in love. She's definitely got it in friendship. And she's now, not like living with Quinn anymore. At the end of season 2, we saw her, becoming more financially independent. So I want to see her artistry and her career blossom now.
Now I know, like, we know we might have met you through, Harlem, but you've been in this game for a long time. And
Absolutely.
you've done theater, right, before. And so you've been doing this real acting shit. And so, like, what does it mean to be playing a character with such range that you actually get to sing and develop that? And I know that you have like your amazing single that's out, Something About You, which, by the way, I play so much. It's so beautiful. Like, it
So
just
much. I
reminds me of like
appreciate
old school R&B, like, just, oh, I love it. It's, yes. It's
Now I'm not trying to think about dudes, but I'm thinking about you, wanting you to come through. Cause something about you just gives me butterflies. Now I'm not trying to act all crazy.
again, in a role that I prayed for. God, my prayers.
You're
Um,
like, yes, I did
I
that.
specifically wanted to do something that allowed me to sing, that allowed me to be able to incorporate all of my loves in one, including
Mhm.
fashion. And Angie is one of the most fashionable characters I've ever seen.
Yes.
So I have deep and immense gratitude. I think it helps me to experience her deeper, to like have some like passions that are in common. I wasn't a recording artist before Angie though. I was like Broadway and or like not I hadn't done Broadway. Well, I'm gonna go speak that. Ooh, receive that. But
Mhm.
I was like musical theater. I done like LA theater and sang in that and like around, shows around town, but hadn't done recording artistry. So I did start to tap in that specifically to dive into what it would be like for her being a recording artist because I hadn't like experienced it and started like writing music because again, just as a first I started doing it just because I'm like, well, I want to see what she's done. One of my favorite things in diving into a character is diving into their passions and like seeing what they're obsessed with. And so with her, it was music. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me write a song, let me get into the studio. And that just like Angie helped introduce me and push me into recording, something that I'd always wanted to do, but like was a little afraid to do it. So it's been something that's like ignited different aspects of me that I had held dormant, and shown me different gifts that I didn't wasn't aware of. She's helped me walk in confidence in a way that like I always did, but now it's like deep rooted in heart and truth.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful for Angie for the lessons she's taught me and will continue to teach me, hopefully. But yes, I'm really blessed to be able to play her.
That's great. How close do you think you are and Angie are in real life? Like to your personality,
So
your
my personality,
like your real life self.
Angie,
You're like, no.
I will say there are parts of my essence that I brought to Angie, right? Like, and I truly believe that, like, I studied with the acting coach, or yeah, named Diana Castle, who's brilliant, and she's like a big believer in you are never not the character. The character is just you empathize is you in another life. So you're always able to like empathize because that's me if I grew up with a different in a different home. That's me if I chose a different path. And so with that in mind, I tried to implement as much of as me as possible and honestly could see bits of me in it. Like we shop in the same closet or shop in the same stores.
Hmm.
I think I'm a little bit more whimsical in my fashion than Angie, but I think we live in the same, like we're very close to each other fashion wise. I definitely added a lot of my essence and like natural energy and
Hmm.
charm that I like, your je ne sais quoi, everybody has like this like je ne sais quoi, very special energy connected to them. And
Hmm.
so I just took that and intensified it for Angie. Um, and we like the same hair. Beyond that, Angie, oh, we're both artists, right? I've done the struggling artist thing. I've slept on my mama's couch. I know what it's like to not have funds, right? Or not be able to support yourself and wonder, is this for me? Why doesn't this thing I love me back? And so those were, and she has a wonderful relationship with her mother, as do I. But those were the things that I could like immediately tap into and know. But Angie is like me in a different universe. If I didn't give a F about what anybody thought, if I grew up in New York and was a little bit harder, a little bit more edgier, she is way more sexually, oh girl, yeah, with no judgment, but just in those capacities. And also, she's a lot more forthright, and I appreciate that. And actually, something that I try to take from her because I could be someone who was more passive.
Hmm.
be honestly, I could tend to lean towards like a Quinn or Camille in awkwardness and passivity sometimes. So having someone who is very active in their own lives and speaks their opinions has been very therapeutic for me in my journey of like self of authenticity and speaking truth. Um, but yeah, those are some of the ways we are alike and different.
What have you learned from working with the different women on the cast?
I've learned there are ways. Well, one, I think this set is such a blessing. Like it really is a one of a kind experience. I've been on a lot of sets and I've never experienced the acceptance, the championing. I have to turn that
There we
into
go.
active verb because you can say, oh, I've never witnessed Black women and artists be championed.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like adding the ing to that feels weird. But I've never seen that before. Like there's so many, it's so interesting in an art form that's so collaborative, how people are terrified of actors. You have a lot of directors who hate actors and
Mhm.
writers who can't stand actors, yet you need us, you know? And so I've never seen such a welcoming environment where the voice of an actor is not only heard, but supported and championed and like cherished. Like it's really unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I pray that all my experiences are like this, like I don't go back.
Yeah.
Let's not go back, you know? So what I've learned in that is the way to champion and support your character's voice and the authenticity that you as an actor bring to that voice through the other ladies. I've learned a complete and utter different level of professionalism watching Megan.
Mhm.
Like her work ethic and the amount that she's able, and Tracy, the amount that they're able to juggle at the same time makes me feel like we can do any and everything. Like there is really no limitations on thresholds on what a Black woman is capable of.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think my imagination and the ceiling that I always had imagination and ideas that exceeded my wildest dreams, right? Like there was always like this idea that I want to do things that haven't been seen before. But I think the actual fuel of belief and the fuel of being able to see something in real time that blows your mind that you've never seen Black women do before helps make my dreams even more real.
Mhm.
They feel less like far-fetched ambitions and now like actual goals I can achieve having watched these women. So yeah, it's been very encouraging and empowering to be on
That's
this.
so great. I love that. I
Thank you.
think one of the things that I've noticed because obviously you've been in this world for a while now, and so being in the acting world takes obviously a lot of faith to have to like be in there, and it's a grind, and you don't you don't just jump in. And so while you're just like being like noticeable and everyone knows you from Harlem now, you've been in it for a while. How did you keep your faith going? How did you keep it like stay motivated to get to this point where like you have the dream job, the dream acting? And I'm sure it's not just the dream. I'm sure you have way more that you want to do. But there's definitely, this is the start.
Mhm.
So, like, how did you keep that motivation going?
Yes, and I want to just go and put a number on that. I was in LA for 16 years.
16
I
years.
I
Wow.
moved out to LA in 2007 and booked Harlem in 2019.
Wow.
So that was 12 years before you guys, before you knew me. and have been acting and then Harlem didn't come out until 2020. We filmed it in 2020, end of 2020 it came out, or top of 2021. No, 2020, end of 2020 it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, 2021. Because the pandemic hit in 2020. So we were shut down for a year. So yeah, Harlem didn't come out till 2021. And I moved out to Los Angeles in 2007. So it was a very long process in between this. This was not an overnight career. And I'm very appreciative of that, because I think there's so many lessons I needed to learn and then continuing to learn as God continues to accelerate and you know us and ascend this career of mine. So I'll say, you asked me what helped me keep the faith. I think I used to say having a Kanye West confidence, but now that might be too much, because we don't want to we don't want to be cross lines, but it does require having a little sense of being able to see things that are not there. It's faith. And other people will see that as delusion, but you need to be able to see things that other people can't. And so many people will tell you no, but you need to be so adamant and so confident in God and your vision and what God has told you, and so delulu that you don't give up on it. And for me, some of it was, well, one, I had a wonderful support system. My mother is like my biggest cheerleader. My mom, I have the best mother in the world. I think being around other artists who were straight chasing it as well and were very confident. One of my I got very like close to people who were like very highly motivated and had a high like threshold of positivity. Even if they weren't always positive, we could like, you know, iron sharpens iron. When your candle is out, I'll light yours, and vice versa. But like keeping a community of artists who are just as equally motivated and sure of themselves is important for the moments when you might feel like your cup is like fading. Also, I felt like it was a numbers game. I thought that if I just don't give up, sooner or later, they'll have no choice but to feed me. If I just don't, because I saw a lot of my friends, like I went to a performing arts college and saw a lot of them decide to go back home. And there's nothing wrong. I have like since left LA, but I'm also blessed to be in a place where I can be we're now in a place with, unfortunately, because of COVID, that you can do this from anywhere and they'll fly you out. So now you don't have to be in the industry to be of the industry. But back then, leaving LA was you gave up, you know? Yeah. And so seeing a lot of incredibly talented artists, some that I thought were even more talented than myself, give up made me feel like if I can just hold on, they have no choice. Mm-hmm. I can just like, it's a numbers game, and sooner or later my number will be called. It's like being at the DMV. Sooner or later, if you just stay, they're gonna call your number. Yep. And so I think like having that mentality of like, listen, I could go home or I could just continue to be here and wait for my number to be called. I also I'm a big adamant believer of doing it yourself. I have my mother is one of the hardest working women I know. And I think just being like cultivated under her work ethic and diligence and resilience made me made me find ways to do that for myself. So I created short films, and that short film actually is what gave me my first manager, which got me my first agent, which got me my first theatrical release in a movie. Like, so I think being willing to do something for yourself and bet on you and invest in you and make your own short film or make your own pilot and talk to other, form your little rat pack and shoot something together or put on a play. I think a lot of people in Hollywood like to get on a train when it's already rolling. And so the moment you put some momentum behind you is when you get eyes.
How do you prioritize your mental health in this industry?
I prioritize my mental health by leaving LA. By saying, okay, you know what? I'm at a place where they're calling me, where I can audition from here, where I get flown out to New York to film, or I get flown out to DC and Maryland to film. So let me go to a space that feels more cultivated and nurturing to Black women. And so, and also I've spent so many, as I said, I moved out to LA in 2007. I was 17 years old. And so all of my adulthood, I've been chasing a dream or chasing this career, and it's been a wholeheartedly pursuing this thing. And so I wanted to take time and have my off time be my off time and really nurture and cultivate Shoniqua outside of the industry. And that's hard to do in Los Angeles when all of your relationships are career oriented. So even when you're not working, you're talking about work. Even when you're at a party, it's someone screaming. It's not just like, let's hang out to hang out. Like everything is work related. And so I needed a moment to go and create a life that's all mine.
Yeah.
So that was a way of prioritizing my mental health, because when I work, I'm gone, so I'm there 100% of the time. When I come back home, I want to come home. I don't want to like also be fake working while at home. And like, there's like office time when you have to write and things like that. But when anybody else in any career, when they clock off, and they can go like be with their husband or be with their friends that may or may not be in the same career as them. And with acting, it's not that at all. In the entertainment industry, you never clock off. And so like, this will cause burnout because I'm going hard at a different level than I've never gone before. This is an elevation in my career. And when we're promoting, when I'm filming, when I'm on set, when I'm doing the engagements, they are time consuming and they take me out of my home. So when I come back home, I want to relax and be at my, and so that was a huge part of me, like prioritizing my own well-being.
So when I do this show, one of the things that I prioritize a lot is obviously just talking about mental health. And one of the ways that I do that is really focusing on vulnerability and the power of vulnerability. And I really encourage people of color, especially Black people, to lean into their vulnerability, because I think that we obviously live in a world where we're always expected to be strong and to always have it together. And so I really encourage people to be okay with sharing when they're not in their strongest times, when they're not, having the highlight reels that we often have, and to lean into that vulnerability. And for me, that's my form of activism. I like to encourage people to lean into their soft era. And
I
so
love that.
with you being in an industry where there's so much pressure to do that, what does activism for you look like, and how does that tie into how you feel about your mental health and the pressures that comes with the industry?
I think it is, as I said, making sure that I nurture and have relationships that are full and supportive of Shoniqua, the person, and not just the actress. I think it looks like finding and doing things that are nourishing to that person and not just the entertainer. It's like, just you ask actors, you ask creatives how they're doing, and they tell you what they're working on. And that's so sad to me. I think that's so sad, that like our career becomes a alignment with our happiness and our joy, what project we're working on. That outward validation is needed in order for me to feel peace. And so making sure right now, and that could look, and I don't care how boring it sounds to other people, but making sure that I'm doing things that I enjoy that have nothing to do with the arts, because I'm blessed to be working. Blessed to have, because I'm at a place where I can work, it doesn't have to be all about that, right? And so I think it also another way of advocating for myself is making sure that, or advocating for my softness, is making sure that I am seen and treated as a woman. And I was just on the phone talking with actually the head of wardrobe for season 3 of Harlem. And we were saying how being anything but a size 2 in certain cities, specifically LA, you're treated as if you're not a woman. And I am nothing but I'm 5'3.5". I am pint
Oh
sized.
wow, I'm 4'10".
Like, you pint size, we're pint sized, right? People, you're more pint than me. Okay. But people see the curves and see the big hair and see the
Yeah.
dark skin and immediately treat me as if I should have the strength of a man. And advocating for no, you're gonna open this door. No, I'm not lifting that up. No, you're gonna treat me with the same kindness and respect and fragility that you would any other blonde woman who walked through the door, is a part of activism for me and advocating for my soft life as well.
Mhm. I
Mhm.
think that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, where do you want to do next? Like, what's your big,
Next,
yeah.
ownership. I want to sell my own shows. I want to own my own production company and studio and network at one point. I've got some really cool projects I'm excited about that hopefully we get pitched and picked up. So my next thing is I would like to be on a show that I created. So,
Oh, that's incredible.
see,
I
in
love
Jesus' name.
that.
Thank you.
How do you envision using your platform to inspire and empower the next generation of dark-skinned women and mental health advocates?
Okay. Well, specifically, I'm gonna actually, let me hit the mental health advocates and then dark skinned women, because that's very easy for me. But mental health advocates, I would like to use my platform to help creatives specifically know that we need to fuel ourselves outside of our art. I think what could be so dangerous about artists is that we love doing it, that it feels like a part of it is fueling us, but it's also an output, and you need to be inputting as well. You can't output and not crash at some point. And so I would like to really make sure that artists are taking care of their mental health. I also know the and have witnessed um, the dangers of needing outward validation, of needing and also the instability of being an artist, and how if your career isn't doing a certain thing, it can make you feel a certain way by yourself. So I really want to make sure that we are loved and filled and nourished, um, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, so that we can have a greater output and greater impact on this world and share our artistry from a healthy place. My impact that I would like to make on what Black women or dark-skinned women is, I would like to show us in roles that we haven't seen before. And I try to do that and right now in the way that I control, which is my photo shoots. I want to see us as luxurious as possible. I want to see us loved on, because we've been so like discarded by society and used rather than cherished. And so I want to show us being cherished. I want to show us in every realm. I want to see us do supernatural things and fantasies and romantic comedies. And I want to normalize this Black body that is so multifaceted. Like, there's no being on this earth that I know that is more multifaceted than a dark-skinned Black woman, just from sheer having to survive, right? But also the defiance and creativity we show in spite of being so judged by so many people. Like a lot of this world's fashion sense is stolen from dark-skinned Black women, like from the church hats to hip hop fashion to hairstyles and oh my gosh, I'm watching movies and I was watching Trolls and I was like, we should the newest Trolls with my nephew, and I was like, oh my God, there should be a drinking game of how many times black vernacular is used in this movie. And but I can't, I mean, but not a Black woman in sight, I don't think is in the cast. I'm not sure of, you know what I mean? Like that and if there is a Black woman, please, girl, I'm sorry. But the new Trolls that I just saw, I don't know if I heard too many Black women voices for them using so many Black women colloquialisms, you know? And so used from everyone on everyone's vision board, everyone's spirit animal, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, but gets no credit for it. And so I want to give us as much credit as I possibly can.
I guess my last question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now?
Oh, okay. I'm going to give you my joy and my happy, right? Because I just got some bad news. So that affects the happiness, right? But joy is internal and it doesn't matter, right? So I would say I have so much, I'm at it like a good 8.5 as far as like joy and peace and love and understanding and hope and all of those other things. As far as happiness, honestly, I think I'm at like, even with that bad news, I think I'm about like a good 6.5.
Okay.
It's shooting, and it's like shooting up. This experience is like helped bless me. So it might be like a good 7. But overall, like knowing in the grand scheme of what like that momentary like bad news in relation to like how I will feel about life and myself and my future and everything else, it's a speck. But yeah.
I get that. You know, it's definitely a tough season for me. So I'm probably at a solid, like, right now I'm happy because I'm talking to you. So I'd say I'm like at a good, like, 9 at the moment.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, let me find out, because let me take in talking to you, right? Not like the past. I'm gonna put me at 8.5 now. I'm gonna put me at 8.5.
I'm really excited. This is a really big moment for me, and I'm just really glad that I got a chance to connect with you. And it means a lot to me that you took the time to like talk to me and come on this platform, because I think that you have so much wisdom and so much to share, and I knew you were going to, so good thinking, Joe. And I'm just so glad that you're doing what you're doing, and congratulations on all the amazing things you're doing. And I know there's so much more to come down the pipeline. Congratulations on season 3. I can't wait to see it. I love Angie. I can't wait to see more of her and what she brings. Just your character, what you're doing for women, and how you're standing up and advocating for us. It means so much to me, and I definitely see you, and I love that you see us, and that means so much. So.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy to speak with you, and I appreciate you reaching out and being like holding me accountable and getting done. I'm so happy to like have this conversation. So thank you.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you for the space you're creating for Black women to talk about mental health. It's very needed.
Thank you. Well, this has been another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl. Till next time, bye.
That was awesome. I appreciate you so much.
Now I'm not trying to think about dudes, but I'm thinking about you, wanting you to come through, 'cause something about you just gives me butterflies.